Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom, Shalom. All right, this is your brother Zachariah Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. All right, coming with another lesson through the Spirit, and Lord willing, this be edifying to the Lord's elect. Before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto our power Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. Shalom to the Akim out there that's pushing the truth, that's laboring in the word, and that's pushing the gospel of the great kingdom that's soon to come. Shalom to the Yakwath that's listening in, that's remaining true to the faith and remaining faithful and submissive to their husbands and guiding their children. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth, to you Israelite foreigners out there who live among the heathen and who look like those heathen nations. But your lineage goes back to the progenitors of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel through the line of your fathers. I want to say peace and blessings to you all, Barakatham. All right. So let's get this going with 2nd Esdras, chapter 16. And let's go to verse 2. It says, "Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood? Or may any one quench the fire in stubble when it hath begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away?" So we coming into some times, man. All right. Times that have never been seen before in the history of mankind. And our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai warned us of these things. All right. And these things were spoken of by the prophets of old. Okay. Let me go to, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 28. And verse 8, and it reads, "The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence." And we're about to see some crazy shit go down, man. All right? So gird up your loins, as the scripture said. You know what I'm saying? And to all these 2/3, you know what I'm saying, they're about to wear that cloth of sack. Okay, and they're about to be in mourning and wailing. All right, Yahweh Shai said clearly that there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, man. All right, so I got a bunch of videos that I want to share with y'all. All right. And before I do that, I want to declare fair use. All right, fair use under the Copyright Act of 1976. So I'm going to get this disclaimer here under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, teaching, education, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use, and this is for educational purposes only. All right? All the videos that I'm going to share with you, this is for educational purposes only. So I want to get this started with a couple of videos that I've been seeing lately. All right, and I'm going to share those. And there's one video in particular that's coming from Odyssey that I want to share as well. All right, so bear with me. Again, this is fair use, fair use. All right.
Guys, I'm telling you, he's found another one. He's found another zombie, footage of zombie. He's literally just gone out just now. He sent me this video just now. He's like going into a park here. This is, my source has found more footage in the south of England of zombies.
Mate, what's that?
Now, people have been commenting since my last video saying, oh, it's not real, like, oh, it's fake, acting a crap. I'm telling you, this is happening in the south of England. It's come up. Keir Starmer has resigned today, and this is why. Because he knows that these things are getting loose. From whatever they're doing, from wherever they're testing on them, or whatever they're getting into the local public, they come out at dusk in the evening times across the country and they wander around. Now people are mistaking them for like drunk people or like just like vagrants, or you know, but I'm telling you that this is real footage of a zombie. Okay, it's almost like a public warning. Like if you actually see the video before this one, there's a public announcement from a secret organisation that it gives you information about this virus outbreak in the UK. Now I want to know what you think of it. Comments, I want shares, I want all of the information below. If you have them in your area, then comment below, let us know what you think, because this is happening more and more, and we are getting sent more and more footage of this stuff. What is it? My source, that the noises it's making, he doesn't know what to make of it. He's in this area. I'm not going to give the area because it'll flood there. Like this is secret information, but he found another one of these things. What is going on?
All right. So again, all right, this is fair use, fair use. And, you know, I found it very interesting with the resignation of Keir Starmer, because that definitely took a lot of people for a loop. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it was seemingly just out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? Just out of the blue, like, oh, yeah, he's resigning, you know. And so that resignation was, what was it, Monday? So that was just, 3 days ago? You know what I'm saying? So I asked ChatGPT, why has the Prime Minister of the UK resigned? And it said, according to current reporting, the main reasons were the labor union suffered significant setbacks in recent local elections, raising concerns about its prospects in future national elections. Starmer faced growing pressure from within his own party, with many Labour MPs, which is members of Parliament, losing confidence in his leadership. All right, that's what the official narrative is. Okay, that's what the official narrative is. But none of this really makes sense. Why would you step down, you know what I'm saying, just because the public is losing faith in your leadership? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there should be a process on impeachment and whatnot. All right. So, you know, with everything that's going on, I may be getting ahead of myself here, but before I go any further on this thought that I have, let me get these videos out. All right.
News about the heat. Now you may have seen on the news about the heat wave and the heat map of the UK, where there's like amber extreme warnings and there's red extreme warnings. Now, I've seen a little glimpse of a different report from the BBC that was the report before the map got released, and it is behind me. And it is not about the heat. It is about the zombie outbreak in the UK. The map behind me was originally for the infected zones. This is where, when the outbreak happens, these are the zones where it's the most likely to spread the quickest, the danger zones, basically. So let's find out whether you are in the red danger zone. Now look at the headline. Zombie infection shuts more than 500 schools in red warning. Now they're saying it's because of the heat, but it's not, is it? These are the areas where the apocalypse is hitting the zombie infection. Now Keir Starmer resigned just as this stuff started to leak. Now here, Amber Zone, Manchester, up to Manchester, up here, clearly the further north, it's just not going to spread, probably because of the population size. Down south, these are the hotspots. The biggest population, that is where the infected are going to spread the quickest.
Right. And as I asked ChatGPT if there was any particular outbreaks that's going on, all right, what it really tells me, all it is just saying that there's heat-related illnesses. All right, heat-related illnesses. The UK is currently experiencing an exceptional heat wave. The UK Health Security Agency has issued heat health alerts, and some hospitals have declared critical incidents because of the impact of extreme temperatures on patients and hospital infrastructures. Heat exhaustion, dehydration, and heat strokes are the main immediate health concerns. All right, so he's not wrong there. He's saying that the official narrative is that there is a heat wave that is going on in UK at this current time. All right. But there's a lot of strange things that seems to be occurring. Okay. Let's go to let's go to this.
Y'all, I don't know what's going on in this specific video in Tennessee, but people are saying it's evidence that there is in fact a zombie outbreak going on. I know it's hard to buy that people are saying there's zombie outbreaks on the internet. It happens, there's phases, I swear, that it goes through. But now I'm hearing rumors about a Walmart where a customer bit another customer. They lock down the Walmart, take the other customer that was bitten to the hospital, and they said by the time she got to the hospital, she changed. Whether it's like Left 4 Dead and it's like some rabies virus, or it really is a zombie virus, the videos online are very interesting. After that video in Tennessee, I'm going to show a video where a gentleman seems to be eating a raw squirrel. Can't make this stuff up, folks. Let me know what you guys think. Is it really happening?
All right. So let's go to Ezekiel. All right, Ezekiel chapter 7. All right. Gird up your loins, man. Ezekiel 7 verse 5. It reads, "Thus saith the Lord power, and evil, and only evil, behold, is come. An end is come. The end is come. It watcheth for thee. Behold, it is come. The morning is come unto thee, O thou that dwellest in the land. The time is come. The day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains." Jumping down to verse 25. It reads, "Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the laws shall perish from the priest, and counsel from the ancients. All right? And as we're seeing, okay, the time is approaching where the prophets are going to be removed from these from the scene. You know what I'm saying? The prophet's going to be out, off the street corners and all that stuff, man. You won't have access to us anymore. All right, doing these lessons, doing these videos. You see what I'm saying? This truth was time sensitive from the very beginning, as you was warned of this. Okay. And now the time is approaching, man. Right now they're criminalizing reading scriptures out of the Bible in Canada. And this is only the beginning. You see what I'm saying? It's only the beginning, man. So let's go to the next video.
So you're telling me that multiple people on 4 separate occasions claim they seen zombies?
So I know there's all this zombie talk going on, but it's so crazy. I'm at my son's football practice, right? And I'm like, let me just look down. Just randomly just look down at the cars I'm walking past them. What do I see in front of me? I'm gonna show you. Okay, so this is the street, all right? This is the car. As I'm walking past the car to go up here, I look down, and what do I see? This shit says Zombie Outbreak Response Team.
Now, if y'all remember, there were claims that the CIA mentioned things about zombies. Well, look up here and see what it says right there. And I need you to read and understand the right way. Pay attention. And then you have the CDC, and this is from ChatGPT, where the CDC released a Preparedness 101 Zombie Apocalypse. And we fast forward back to now. Use your discretion. What's really going on?
All right. Let's go here, because if you remember, all right, if you remember that we've been blowing this, we've been blowing the trumpet, man. We've been sounding the alarm, all right, on these particular pathogens and what have you, okay, resulting from that happy juice that everyone took back in 2020, okay, that special juice that everybody put inside their arms, you see what I'm saying, years ago. All right. And we was talking about these things, and we were saying, all right, whatever is in those what's the word? It's just trying to watch what I'm saying. But what was inside those needles, I'll just say that what was inside those needles contained, all right, particular things that alter the genome, okay, that alter your molecular structure, okay, and now that's already coming out, and it's being admitted now in chambers of Congress that these inoculations actually had a particular use, okay. And here it is, Dr. Feces is right in your face again, letting you know, all right, that it's time to roll up for another one. You see what I'm saying? And that's all I'll say on that. But with that said, all right, let me show you this one video from Odyssey, all right, that came out a couple years ago, back in 2021. Okay, bear with me. Bear with me. All right. Now, this particular video was uploaded in January, all right, last year, 2025. And, all right, the title is 5G Planned, all right, you see what it is, Zombie Epidemic. All right. So, again, fair use. All right, this is for educational purposes only.
All right, take your seats, everyone. We need to get this meeting started. Before we begin, I'm going to make sure that everybody has picked up their copy of the briefing notes. There are more details. I'm going to give you the outline. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I've called this special meeting of the Zombie Hazard Command because we have vital new information and new problems to discuss. Get through some security. Bear with me a moment. All right, first, a little housekeeping. National Security Order 21Z, it passed. Our operational authority is supreme. Use it. Now, back to the topic at hand. As you know, we've been battling a unique biological threat, and we've made little progress. Lack of any live specimens. If a body's found at all, it's already permanently dead. Now, we finally have a live specimen. But before you get too excited, let me stress that it's only one. We need more. So why does this problem exist? Well, the reason for problem number one is problem number two. We have an unknown assailant or assailants. Unknown assailant profile. We have no leads as to the identity of the assailant. Ballistics are untraceable. That's not exactly true. We do know at least most of the time they're using Z-Max ammunition. Weapons in use are 9mm, 45 caliber, and edged weapons. Probable gender, male. Body type, they're strong, muscular, athletic. They're well armed and well trained with munitions. They have a possible military or police background, and they're probably skilled in a variety of martial arts to include hand-to-hand combat. If you're on scene, look for someone fitting this profile. Apprehend if possible, eliminate if necessary. For you jokers out there, I know this describes everyone on the Z teams, so know your team members. Problem number three, identification of infectious agent. Here's where it gets interesting. We now have research notes from a top U.S. scientist who is intimately familiar with a zombie infection. He studied both the pre- and post-mortem zombie condition before PD. He has identified and named the virus, Cryptonecrophagia vulgaris, CNV. It's a retrovirus, and there's no cure. This scientist's notes indicate prions may also be involved in the infectious process. However, at this point it remains unclear what, if any, role they play. Remember the single live subject I mentioned earlier? Unfortunately, the subject and scientist are one and the same. We do not know how much time he has left before he's no longer of any use, except perhaps for dissection. So we need more live specimens. Keep that in mind during operations. Problem number four, mode of transmission, currently unknown. Transmission modes ruled out: bites, scratches, casual contact, vector infection, droplet, or airborne spread. Some Z team members can attest to the fact that bites and scratches don't spread infection, at least not yet. To date, 12 team members have been wounded while engaged in field operations. They've undergone mandatory 90-day quarantine. None have showed any signs of infection. Not all team members are out of quarantine yet, but we hope they'll be released and return to active duty soon. Problem number five, emerging public awareness of the situation. I'm going to mention each of these points, then talk about them in greater detail. There are things you need to know. First, the Coconut Grove fly-in. Many of you were there. Then there's the Miami incident. Some of you were there. The CDC Zombie Apocalypse Preparedness Release. DHS released a fake zombie preparedness story. Then there's the recent purchases of large quantities of ammunition. About the Coconut Grove fly-in, Z Teams 1, 2, and 3 cleaned down a zombie cell. That got a lot of public attention. Our cover story was that this was an urban assault exercise in preparation for the upcoming UN meeting. For now, our cover story is holding, but one got away. That led to the Miami incident. That should never have happened. About the Miami incident. Some of you were there. Our cover story was bath salts. That was blown when the autopsy results were leaked. There were no bath salts present. We're still dealing with the fallout, and we're investigating the leak. the CDC Zombie Apocalypse Preparedness release that was sent out against our wishes. Then they changed their story. This brought even more attention to it than if they'd just left it alone. Next, DHS released a fake zombie preparedness story, also against our wishes, but it's out there, so we're going to use it as our cover story. Next month, DHS is running a 1,000-person training exercise in San Diego. Z-Teams 2, 4, and 5 will be doing a cleanup operation in another part of the city at the same time. This gives us plausible deniability. I shouldn't have to stress how important this is. Make certain none of them get away. We don't want another Miami incident. About the ammo purchases. We've used news and various media outlets to float the idea that unprecedented large ammo purchases are for government agencies to defend against civil unrest in anticipation of economic collapse. Those of you in this room know all too well that this is a much nicer bedtime story than the truth. Reality is much less pleasant. Right now, the cover story is working. Problem number 6, weakening of current cover stories. Bath salts. In Florida, bath salts was a go-to drug of choice. The autopsy leak created problems for this story. Other drugs, synthetic marijuana and S21, were floating these in Louisiana, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Crazy people were floating this idea in Louisiana, New York, and Chicago. Animal attacks were floating this story in Georgia, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. We estimate 2 years of viability for these cover stories. Finally, problem number 7, public distribution of full disclosure of current operations. Some brainiac has lined up all the recent events and past history like beads on a string. We don't know where he's getting his information, but too much of the actual facts of our operation are woven into the story. It's not coincidence. He's getting his information somewhere. The story is Dr. Eve's Zombie Killer. It's presented as a fictional novel. LabyrinthOfArts.com is an independent website where the book can be found. For those of you who are wondering, we currently have no plans to shut down this website. We need to gather further intelligence, find out what their sources of information are, and plug whatever leaks we find. Right now, John Q. Public does not know what's happening. We'd like to keep it that way. If you have any questions, I'll address them in my office after the meeting. We now have the facts as we understand them. This briefing is adjourned. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good day.
Military attorney Todd Callender is an expert in international law and morbidity-mortality law. He's been filing lawsuits and blowing the whistle on the enemy ever since they made the shots mandatory. These lawsuits have led to his research team amassing thousands of whistleblowers that point to a planned Marburg epidemic, already paid for by taxpayer dollars in the recent PrEP Act. Todd Callender said that inside the lipid nanoparticles, there are sealed pathogens, including E. coli, Marburg, and Ebola, and that different pathogens can be released by different frequencies, pulsed through the 5G network.
Inside of these shots that people...
Right. And we've been hearing lately a lot of this talk of Ebola. All right. We've been seeing that in recent news articles. Okay. So keep that in mind.
already received inside the lipid nanoparticles, the hydrogel, there exists pathogens inside of the particles that have not yet opened. Those pathogens are chimeric. They include E. coli, Marburg, Ebola staphylococcus, and brewer's yeast, amongst others. We know that upon the broadcast from the 5G system that is now employed across the United States and the world for that matter, when they broadcast an 18 gigahertz signal for 1 minute, 3 different times as a pulse, it will cause those lipid nanoparticles to swell and release these pathogenic contents, thereby causing a Marburg epidemic that they've already spent the money on. It's already done, right? The Marburg epidemic, for purposes of the law, has happened, and now we just need the actual disaster to happen. And there's actually worse parts to it than that, including the 1p36 gene deletion that effectively will turn those poor people into zombies. As odd as that sounds, our government's preparing for that.
He also points out that 1p36 gene deletion is the #1 side effect of the Pfizer shots, a disease with zombie-like symptoms that make a person aggressive with a propensity to bite. The CDC published a public service announcement on the preparedness for a zombie apocalypse in 2011. That same year, Con Plan 8888-11, Counter Zombie Dominance, was published. The military's advanced ammunition, known as multi-purpose rounds, are single rounds comprised of multiple projectile options to be chosen via direct communication from the tank fire control to the cartridge chambered in the breech. So it would make sense to arm weaponized vaccines the same way. Popular online personality Jason Shirka has recently posted a warning that on October 4th, FEMA will be using 5G frequencies to activate nanopathogens in the blood of the vaccinated.
On October 4th at 2:22 p.m. Eastern Time, the emergency broadcast system will be activated across the entire United States under the leadership of FEMA, disguised as a test. However, this test will be used to send a specific high-frequency signal through devices like smartphones, radios, and TVs with the intention of activating graphene oxide and other nanoparticles that have been inserted into billions of human beings around the world through the obvious mediums. If the October 4th date does not occur for any reason, the backup plan will be to do it on October 11th at the same time. In the case that this is not able to be stopped, I ask you all to shut off your phones and all other relevant devices at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for a period of 2 hours to be safe.
Right. Now that, that time came and went. Okay. And, things didn't happen at that time. All right. Things didn't happen at that time. And one of the things that is worth noting is that, these people listen to the prophets. All right. Those that are in these secret, these secret meetings and whatnot, they listen to the prophets. Okay. And many times they adjust their plans based off of the things that we're saying. You know what I'm saying? And that's just that's me speaking as a man, but as we've seen throughout the years, all right, according to them, they was already planning on getting this MLTB, this mark of the beast out, which is the subdermal, all right, the subdermal chip, subdermal device. Okay, they was planning on bringing it out back in 2007. It was already prepared back in 2007. All right, and that was the time when the apostles, all right, came on the scene on YouTube and started talking about it and broadcasting it, man. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that that was around that time when I first started to learn about this chip. Okay, and I wasn't even in the truth at that time, and I knew that this had to be, all right, this has to be that device, all right, or that prophecy that's mentioned in Revelation, the 13th chapter. All right. So, that's pretty much all I want to get on that. All right. But, you can watch the rest of this on odyssey.com. I got another video that I wanted to share with you. All right. And this one was uploaded in 2021. Bear with me. Okay. This was in March the 3rd, 2021. It reads, CDC now warns of zombie virus outbreak, Billy Boy, bioterrorism, and C19 origins. All right. I'm not going to let you listen to all of this. Okay. I'm just going to hit a couple minutes of this video. All right. And probably grab a couple more scriptures and close it out.
Of mainstream media coming out and claiming CDC is offering the tips to survive their zombie apocalypse that they are planning. So let's see what they have to say about it. Nostradamus predicted it centuries ago. Here comes the zombie apocalypse. According to Annual Horoscope, 2021 could mark the rise of the living dead. Nostradamus predicted it in Les Prophéties.
Well, he wasn't no prophet. All right, Nostradamus was not a prophet. You see what I'm saying? He was just another warlock. All right, you have to understand that the moves that these Edomites are making is a part of a script. Okay, and this is a script that's been in play for centuries. You see what I'm saying? For centuries. And that's why, when you see, these things like the central banks and all that stuff, these concepts was already in the works, all right, back before horse and buggy, you know what I'm saying? Or long before, long before Christopher Columbus came over here, you know what I'm saying? These things were long in the works, right? So, let's continue.
Let's see what else they say.
As a matter of fact, I wanted to point this out as well, because even though they're following a script, all right, even though they're following a script, they're also very late, all right. They're very late in this in applying these things. You know what I'm saying? Because they want this thing to be set in place, all right, by 2030. And as we've heard a couple years back, all right, and the prophets, begin with the apostles, bishops, and elders, all right, had pointed it out that that they had to shorten that time. You see what I'm saying? They had to shorten that time. So on the surface, you know what I'm saying, and then in the public, all right, they're telling you 2030, but in actual fact, they got to get this thing done far earlier than that, way much earlier than that. You see what I'm saying? Because they know that their time is running out, right? And since I mentioned that, let me get the scripture to come to mind in Revelation chapter 12. All right. It's rocky. All right, this is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. It reads, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." Okay. So again, just because they're moving on a script, all right, they're short on time, and they know that they're losing more and more time as the days go by, because these days don't feel like days no more. These weeks don't feel like weeks no more. These months don't feel like months, and these years don't feel like years anymore. You see what I'm saying? So they know that they're running out of time. All right, so whatever these jokers got planning, they finna push it, and they finna get it out quick, because the great event is coming. All right.
He predicted that in 2021, a scientist would create a biological weapon and produce a virus that can turn humankind into zombies, as interpreted by astrologists. Few young people, half dead to give a start, dead through spite, he will cause the others to shine. And in an exalted place, some great evils to occur. Sad concepts will come to harm each one. Temporal dignified, to the mass to succeed. Fathers and mothers dead of infinite sorrows. Women in mourning, the pestilent she-monster. The great one to be no more, all the world to end. Nostradamus. And to help calm the qualms and concerns of the mass zombified populace, the CDC has come out to share tips on how you can be zombie ready in case of the sudden outbreak that they have been planning for decades through their health.
And you see how far behind they are. All right. Sorry to keep cutting it off, but you see how far behind that they are. You see what I'm saying? This thing should have been pushed. This thing should have been pushed by 2021, man. This thing should have been done. You see what I'm saying? All right, everybody should be cyborgs by now, according to these devils, man. You know what I'm saying? According to their time frames. You see what I'm saying? When you go to the Deagle report, all right, in that website that was taken down, they wanted these mass casualties to be taking place, all right, by 2025, and here we are, 2026. So it goes to show you just how far behind schedule these devils are, man. All right, they had long hoped to get it on and popping in Iran. You know what I'm saying? As you hear hear General Wesley, all right, Wesley Clark, and he was pointing out that there were 7 countries that were to be taken down in 5 years. All right, starting with Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, was it Sudan, and the last nation would be Iran. And here it is. They finally got Iran. They finally got a puppet that was foolish enough to take on Iran. All right. And so, that mass depop, situation has to happen, man. All right. It's not going the way that they planned. They did not take over Iran. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to take over Lebanon. All right. And it's just not going in their favor. All right. They're in straits right now. You see what I'm saying?
Hollywood media. Wonder why zombies and zombie apocalypse, zombie preparedness continue to live or walk dead on a CDC website? Well, as it turns out, what first began as a tongue-in-cheek campaign to engage new audiences, such as the young and the idiotic, with preparedness messages has proven to be very effective on the platform, the CDC writes. We will continue to reach and engage a wide variety of audiences on all hazards preparedness. Damn it, why does it keep clicking on other links? According to CDC, it's best to be prepared for the possibility of the zombie outbreak, just as you would for any other disaster. There are all kinds of emergencies out there that we can prepare for. Take a zombie apocalypse, for example, CDC blog post says. You may laugh now, but when it actually happens, you'll be happy you read this. And hey, maybe you'll even learn a thing or two about how to prepare for the real emergency. The CDC says the first thing you need to do is prepare for an emergency kit. Is to prepare an emergency kit. This includes things such as water, food, and other supplies such as a bug-out bag to get you through the first couple of days before you can locate a zombie-free refuge camp. In other words, a concentration camp. Or in the event of a natural disaster, it will buy you some time until you are able to make your way to an evacuation shelter or until utility lines are restored. Below are a few items you should include in your kit. Water, a gallon per day. Food, stock up on non-perishable items that you eat regularly. And for those of you carnivore dieting, all meat, only diet clowns, this is not how you live. The way you prepare is the way we've prepared for centuries throughout winters, which is by canning and jarring goods, carbohydrates, non-perishable, dense, starchy carbohydrates for caloric density, such as rice, beans, legumes, nuts, seeds, heavy, dense carbohydrate calories that will store for a long period of time. That you can also be extremely cheap buy in bulk, such as 30-pound bags of rice and beans, etc. Medications, this includes non-prescription meds, tools, and supplies, such as for men, your everyday carries, sanitation and hygiene, clothing and bedding, change of clothes and blankets, important documents, copies of these won't be necessary, folks. These will not be necessary. But these will be necessary in order to pass through their mandatory CDC armed guarded checkpoints, which will be erected out of the current existing tollway stations, toll road highway stations, which for years I've been saying that the toll road stations are just an infrastructure that they've been establishing in order to act as checkpoints, armed and guarded by the National Guard and the CDC military, the CDC police, military police, to prevent any undesirables from entering into the megacity areas just like in the movie, the Maze Runner series, and Hunger Games, and Divergent series, and Westworld, on and on and on. First aid supplies. For a full list, see the CDC emergency page. Once you
All right, we've seen this in in the movie Running Man, all types of stuff, man. They show you in these movies, man, because it's called Revelation of the Method. All right, and so yeah, these devils are about to make their moves, man. You know what I'm saying? All these detention facilities, as they call them. All right, they got these Americans. They got these red-blooded Americans to agree with these detention centers because they told you that they were for the immigrants. You see what I'm saying? They got you to agree with Alligator Alcatraz. They got you to agree when your boy Trump was sitting here telling you that there's gonna be another 12 more all around the country. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take it to them. You see what I'm saying? These gullible people not knowing that this was meant for them. You see what I'm saying? They only put Jake as the face of it to get you on board. You see what I'm saying? To get you to agree with your own with your own confinement. They put Jake in your face. And they said, see, this is for them. This is for them. All right? And here it is. These people, all right, they embraced totalitarianism. And here it is. It's about to bite their ass. So that's pretty much what I wanted to get with this. You know what I'm saying? Just wanted to point that out, that they're following a script. All right, a script that's centuries old. Okay? They can say whatever they want. All right, talking about Nostradamus was the master astrologer and he knew the signs and the times and all these things. Nah, man, this is all a script. It's all a script that they're playing by. Right? But let's get that. Let's go to Isaiah. All right, Isaiah chapter 47. And I'm going to close this out. All right, Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 10. It reads, as a matter of fact, let's start at verse 9. It says, but these two things shall... let me start at verse 8. It reads, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. All right, so when you look at these jokers like Nostradamus, you know what I'm saying? All right, you have to understand that the left-hand side also has its prophets. Okay? And that's through these mediums, through these warlocks, through these sorcerers, through these witches. You see what I'm saying? The Heavenly Father has prophets on the right-hand side and prophets on the left-hand side. Okay? Verse 11. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, that thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. And mischief shall fall upon thee, that thou thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries. wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. You see what I'm saying? When it's talking about from thy youth, okay, from long time ago, man. Long time ago. You see what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Nostradamus is an example of this. All right, where you've been working on this this plan of yours for centuries. Again, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou mayest, if so be, thou shalt be, Salakia, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. All right. So yeah, man, gird up your loins. You know what I'm saying, and prepare, man. Pray. All right, not carnally. Prepare spiritually, man. Pray, fast. All right. Seek the Lord now while he can be found, because his prophets are still here. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna cut that there. I pray this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. This has been your brother Zachariah Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. In closing, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Wachaha Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom.